So now is your opportunity to get involved and do something to push back on the MAGA extremism taking place in this country, happening right now. In Missouri, we're pre-filing bills, and I've seen a bill that's really got my ire this morning. My name is Dan Schaefer, previous Democratic candidate running for the Missouri House of Representatives, District 97. What's going on, you might ask, and how may I get involved? Well, let me tell you what's going on. Hardy Billington, who's the state representative for District 152, covering parts of Dunklin and Butler counties, including the city of Poplar Bluff, has pre-filed a bill. Here's what the bill reads, in part anyways. Beginning on January 1, 2026, each school district's school board and charter schools governing board shall display the 10 commandments in each building and classroom under the school board's or governing board's jurisdiction. We're going to see the 10 commandments in every one of our schools, all of our public schools in Missouri. This has to stop. Now, is this legal, you might ask? Well, let's take a look. In the state of Louisiana, they filed HB 71 earlier this year. HB 71 said essentially the same thing. In fact, Hardy Billington's bill was modeled after or as far as I can tell, was modeled after the Louisiana bill, said exactly the same thing. The bill went through the highly Republican legislature and passed, and the governor signed it into law. Then it was challenged, and it was challenged in federal court, or a federal judge said that this is illegal on the face of it, and but now it's going to go to the Court of Appeals, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. This thing's going to ratchet all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, let me dial the clock back to 1980. This same thing came up back in 1980 in the Supreme Court because the state of Kentucky had passed a similar law saying that the 10 Commandments must be displayed in every classroom. This was Stone versus Graham, 1980. The U.S. Supreme Court decided that was illegal, that you cannot display the 10 Commandments in every classroom because it violated the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, obviously. Here's the scary thing, though. The majority was 5-4. This was back in 1980, 5-4. 5-4 decided that this was not legal. Well, what do you think today's Supreme Court is going to see when they look at it? Looking at today's Supreme Court, how do you think it's going to rule this time? It's probably going to be something like 6-3 in favor. So this thing's going to ratchet itself up to the Supreme Court. And Mr. Hardy Billington is lighting a match and trying to get this thing started and start the bonfire. We need to push back on this. This is not Gilead. This is the United States of America, where our founding fathers clearly, with the Establishment Clause, said that there is a separation of church and state, and that we shall not support any indoctrination of anyone into any religion, especially in our schools. So here's what you can do. Mr. Hardy Billington, that's his picture up there, and that's his number down there. Call him. Call his office. That's his office number. That's not his personal number. Call his office and give him your opinion on what's going on. Give him your concerns. If you don't live in the state of Missouri, still call his office because this is going to affect everybody. But especially if you live in the state of Missouri, call his office. And if you live in the state of Missouri, you will have a state representative and state senator. Call their office as well. Also, write a letter to your editor, to your local editor. Make sure people are aware of this. This is a push toward Gilead. If we don't push back, folks, if we don't push back on this kind of stuff, we're going to suffer. Especially over the next 4 years when you know who is going to be president and you know what's going to happen in the Supreme Court. We need to push back. We need to push back right now. Thank you very much for your time.